I
really
think people
taking care
forget
of.
your body is the vessel that's driving your life, your business,
Yeah.
your everything.
Yeah.
So treat it with
Yeah.
the respect it deserves.
You're listening to Overwhelmed Working Woman, the podcast that helps you be more calm and more productive by doing less. I'm your host, Michelle Gauthier, a former overwhelmed working woman and current life coach. On this show, we unpack the stress and pressure that today's working woman experiences. And in each episode, you'll get a strategy to bring more calm, ease, and relaxation to your life.
Hi, friend. Thanks for joining. Today's guest is Angelica Ventrice. She's a health and mindset coach who helps high-achieving women like us spot the early signs of burnout and reclaim their energy and confidence. This was an interesting conversation. She shares her personal transformation story and breaks down the deeper connection between stress, gut health, and self-worth. I feel like gut health is something I always heard about, but I didn't really know what it meant until now. So when you listen today, you'll learn how to notice the signs of burnout before it forces you to slow down, what gut health is and why it impacts your energy and your mood and your ability to lose weight, and why it's so hard to slow down even when you want to. But before we jump into all that exciting info, I want to remind you that I am hosting a fall declutter challenge, and it starts on September 15th. When you join the declutter challenge, you will get several things. One, there is a podcast episode that gets posted every day that tells you which area you're going to declutter or work on that day. It's going to include physical things, digital things, your mindset, all kinds of clutter. You're going to get a beautiful printable workbook that you can download to a device, or you can print it out if you prefer to journal with a pen and paper. There will be prizes, daily prizes to celebrate your progress. I will also share your real life wins and questions during the challenge episodes. So for example, if you listen to Monday's episode and you have a question about it, you can send me in that question if you're doing the challenge and I will address it the next day. Or if you have a big win, I would love to share that with the audience. You can send that to me and I will share it with everyone. So I'd love to have you join so that you can declutter your house, your email, your mindset, all the things. It's $17 to join the challenge, less than that impulse Target run to buy more bins to hold the stuff you don't even want. The link is in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, Angelica, for joining us today. I'm so excited to hear your story and all the ways that you're helping women get an early read that they might be getting to burnout before it actually happens to them. But start off by telling us how you got into this space in the first place.
Yes, I will make it as short as possible. Thank you for having me. About 15 years ago, I went on my own weight loss health journey. I was doing pharmaceutical sales. I am from Long Island, New York. I was pretty much overweight my whole life into my late 20s. One day, I literally couldn't take it anymore. I was burnt out. I was feeling horrible in my body. I was doing well in my career, but just feeling really out of alignment. I hired a coach. I lost 40 pounds with him, and something kind of gut punched me. Like, this is what you need to do. So I left pharmaceutical sales, moved from New York to California, and started personal training and nutrition coaching, and moved into health coaching, my business online. It really has turned into like health coaching, life coaching, mindset coaching as well. Just because I've done so much different coaching myself. But that's really how it started. I had my own transformation journey, and I felt really called to help other women, and I've helped some men as well. Really, it's not just about the number on the scale, but find true alignment and happiness in their bodies and in their health. And I saw how much it changed my life, my relationship with self, my relationship with my career, and just everything around me. And yeah, so I left my pharmaceutical job, and here we are.
And just went for it. Such an
I just went for it.
easy.
Yeah, I literally had no job lined up in California. So hopefully, the story inspires someone. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I was meant to do something else other than pharmaceutical sales, which I wasn't aligned to do because I'm very holistic in the way I approach health.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So really, it started to feel not good to me to be pushing drugs to doctors that are writing it to get paid to write the prescription. So it felt out of alignment to do that anyway. So it all happened the way it was supposed to happen. And I just moved to California, no job. And I was like, right, doing this, gonna figure it out. Like,
I love it. That's so great. Starting my business is a similar story where one day I decided I can't do this anymore. And I started this business. You say it like one sentence with a bow on it. Doesn't show all the times we're like laying on the floor crying.
Oh my God, still, yeah. And then I just started this business and became so successful. A lot of hard work, a lot of trials and doing things wrong. But I think you have a calling And especially women, we're so intuitive that we follow that gut
Yes.
instinct. It will not lead you in the wrong way. You just have to trust it. And that doesn't mean it's not scary. It was scary for me to leave New York. It was scary to go to Cali and then start that business and then scary to move the business online. There's always a little bit of fear, but I really do always feel too that fear is an inkling that you're moving in the right direction.
Yes, yes, that kind of fear. There's a different brand of fear that's like, "This is scary, but it's exciting,"
Yes,
versus like,
exactly.
"Ugh." Yeah. So you said that when you were doing that pharmaceutical job, you started feeling like you were just out of alignment and really burned out. Is that kind of the hallmark of the people who come to you for help?
Yeah.
Do they come to you because they wanna lose weight, or, like, what does your client usually come to you with?
A lot of women are feeling there's the fat loss or weight loss, body recomposition, but then there's also a lot of women who want help with their gut health. They're feeling bloated, uncomfortable, brain foggy. They also come to us because they're not putting themselves first and they know it. It's like that saying, put your oxygen mask on first. Like they know they need to do it, but they're
Yeah.
not doing it and they want help. They want to break the people pleasing. They want to put themselves first. They know they'll show up better for their careers, businesses, family, and partners when they do start to put themselves first, but they've been stuck not doing that years of putting themselves last. So
Yes.
a lot of them are burnt out. We have such a mix. Some women are burnt out, some are in adrenal fatigue, some women have gut health issues, hormonal issues, some have autoimmune. We kind of see it all. At the end of the day, all of them want to either lose some weight or lose some fat. When you're
Mhm,
in a
and
state of burnout, your body doesn't look good most of the time.
yes. What are some of the signs that you're either in burnout or you're very close to getting burnt out?
Both feeling like you've slept 6 to 8 hours and you wake up and you're still exhausted. I would say that's a good indication. But I think as women age, they start to blame it on hormones or age. It could also be that you're in a burnout and you're in adrenal fatigue. You're looking bloated, you're looking swollen, you're looking inflamed. I think that adrenal fatigue and burnout go together because when you are so burned out, your body isn't working properly. So you'll start to feel fatigue, exhaustion, brain fog. Like I said, you think you have a good night's sleep, but you're waking up exhausted, right? You slept the certain amount of hours. Disconnected. I think that when you're in a level of burnout, you feel disconnected from your work. You may want to burn your business to the ground. You feel disconnected from your partner. Maybe other signs that we don't even think about is like saying no to maybe things that you used to like doing or events that you used to like to go to. Just starting to isolate yourself a little bit more is another
Yes.
sign of burnout. Sometimes you think, oh God, I'm just so tired. But are you just tired or are you really heading towards burnout? It's okay to be tired. We all have times where we're tired, but if you're saying no a lot, if you're disconnecting, if you love to paint or draw or you love to dance, and then you're not doing any of these things that you used to once love to do,
Yes.
that's a sign of burnout, like a high level of disconnection, feeling out of alignment in your life, out of alignment in your body, high level of being disconnected is a sign of burnout. Plus all the physical symptoms we just talked about.
Yes. I
Yeah.
find a lot of women who come to me have forgotten what they like doing. Painting is a good example. There could be
I like to paint and draw too, but I don't do it often enough because we forget these childlike hobbies that
yes, just like the fun we can have on some of those simple things. I
yeah.
just wanna will you tell us what adrenal failure is, what that means?
Adrenal fatigue is when your hormones are not functioning properly and your cortisol is through the roof. That bloat, that inflammation, it happens often. Some people don't realize that they're in it, but I would say probably half of the women that come to me are in it. Like they're just
Okay.
in a complete state of exhaustion. Their hormones aren't functioning properly. They have estrogen dominant. They don't have enough progesterone. They don't have enough testosterone. They're not able to build lean muscle mass and the cortisol is through the roof. When the cortisol is through the roof, the other hormones cannot function properly.
Okay, and that comes from being under a lot of stress for a long time? Causes
Yep.
that?
Chronic stress for sure. Chronic stress
Okay.
can come from multiple things and not taking care of your health, right? Like what are the foods you're eating, who you're surrounding yourself with. But there are times when you'll be doing a lot of things, right? Like you'll eat well, you're doing the workouts, but you're so stressed and you're operating that high level of fight or flight that you're in burnout, right? Even if you're eating the good things, taking care of yourself, but if you're constantly in that high state of stress, you're still in burnout.
Yeah, there's nothing that you okay. And then you mentioned that a lot of times you help people get their gut health fixed.
Yeah.
I feel like gut health is something, and I don't know if it's because I just kind of started paying attention to it myself, but I feel like I see it everywhere. So will you tell us what does that mean and what does it drive when our gut health isn't good versus when it is good?
So like inflamed versus non-inflamed, the gut is the powerhouse of the body. It
Okay.
doesn't just affect your digestive system. More and more studies are showing that 80 to 90% of dopamine and serotonin are located in your gut, which
Okay.
means if your gut is inflamed and off balance, you don't feel as well. You have brain fog, you're moody, you're depressed. right? Because your body isn't accessing those neurotransmitters the way it should be. I've had women come to me with such poor gut health and they're depressed and they have anxiety and they're on meds for that, which is there's nothing wrong with it, but we've done gut healing with them and they've been able to get off of their medication. So we often forget the connection between the gut and the brain, right? That access there.
Yeah.
So yeah, anxiety, depression, moodiness, brain fog. There's so many other symptoms that your gut is off, like the whites of your eyes can become yellow, your teeth will be more yellow. Not to be TMI here, but like recurring yeast infections or vaginal infections are also a sign of poor gut health. And then there's obvious like diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, and bloat. People always know those, right? But then also like extreme fatigue and migraines are also a sign, and constant headaches or allergies, inability to shed weight, right? You have a high level of gut dysbiosis, which is inflammation. It's gonna be very hard to shed weight. A high level of gut inflammation, hard for your body to absorb the protein that you're eating to build lean muscle mass. It literally affects everything.
If you suspect that your gut health is off, what's one step people could take to figure that out?
Like a lifestyle change.
I would say whichever somebody more
But
easily.
I think that people will notice symptoms. So I say paying attention to how you feel when you're eating. Are you constantly bloated all day or just in the evening, keeping a food log, even if it's just writing it down and paying attention to how you feel? I would say most women are bloated. So how much caffeine are you intaking? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough fiber? These are things people could start paying attention to. 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day is essential. Most people don't eat enough of that. Fiber is so essential for good gut health because it feeds the good gut bacteria. I'll just put it in layman's terms. It feeds the healthy bacteria that we want to flourish. So you want eating plenty of fiber, fruits, and veggies as well. We don't need to go into like the nitty gritty of pre and probiotics. You can get that from food, but just making sure you're eating a variety of fruits and veggies and lean proteins and drinking plenty of water. Don't start your morning with coffee. Start your morning with warm lemon water that stimulates the bile, gets the toxins released, and stimulates your digestive system. Also, you're dehydrated when you wake up and you don't want to just jump to coffee. So making sure that you have some water. And I strongly encourage the warm lemon water. It's really great.
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah, it's such an easy thing. Just so easy. The water, I squeeze a whole lemon in. It's very, very simple. And it really makes a difference. Your stomach will look flatter, get the digestive system moving. It's really good for you. It's good for your system.
Okay, those are great tips. Are there foods that will always cause bloat, or is it dependent on the person?
That's a great question. I think it's dependent on the person, but in general, gluten, wheat, excess of soy, corn, dairy can cause inflammation. Dairy in America contains an inflammatory protein called casein. It's only found in America, not in Europe and other countries because of the way we process things here. Gluten, even if you don't have celiac, can be highly inflammatory. I'm not saying never have dairy or gluten. Just be conscious. Like, I love pizza. I'm Italian, so we eat pizza like once a week, right? So yes, I'm having some gluten, I'm having some dairy, but I'm not doing it every day. Does that make sense? And also paying attention to what type of proteins you're getting. Are they farm raised or organic, right? Because if you buy a piece of salmon and it's farm raised, that means it ingested antibiotics. You don't know what they're putting into the fish, right? But if you get wild caught salmon, it's completely different. So paying attention to what type of products you're buying is important.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't do dairy. It just upsets my stomach. It makes me feel terrible. I didn't used to be like that, but for the past 5 or so years, I just really don't eat dairy. And this summer, I took my kids to Europe for a couple of weeks and I ate all the dairy.
Right.
And I was completely fine.
Completely fine. That's what I'm saying. Same thing. I went to Italy. We ate pizza every day. My stomach was fine. If I ate pizza every day here, it'd be a problem. And I ate pasta every day too. I mean, I would eat and I was pregnant, literally. So it really is. This is why. And I'm not the type of coach or mentor who's like, never eat this or never have a drink, because I don't think that's a sustainable way to live. But if you ask me things that will inflame your system, I'm going to say yes to those because I know the processing of what happens behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
Let's put it in layman's terms. The more label reading you're doing, the worse it is for your system. So if you're buying things that are packaged, it's not going to be as good for you as just eating real fruits, veggies, and lean proteins, right?
Yeah.
But do I like to eat gluten-free crackers here and there? Yes, of course. I like some chips. I live my life, but I think just overall, avoiding dairy, excess of dairy, gluten, corn, soy is good for your system.
Yeah, will be better on your stomach. Okay.
Better on your gut health. Yes.
And in your opinion, because everyone who listens to this podcast is overwhelmed and a working woman and so busy, Why do you think that women have such trouble slowing down, even when they know they're headed towards burnout or they're not taking care of their own health? I feel like most women consciously know like something's got to change here. But why do we have so much trouble slowing down, in your opinion?
Our identity is tied to achievement. Our identity from a very young age, I'll speak for myself and the clients I work with. I'm sure you've encountered this as well. Super type A, high achieving women, like the women
Yes.
listening to the podcast.
Yes. Like everyone who's listening. Yes.
Everyone is the same, the women that I work with. And this stems from a lot of times childhood. Like my parents put pressure on me to get good grades, just like and that's where it starts. Or where you play competitive sport, you have to be the best. So our identity is literally from the time we're very young tied to our achievements. And it's very hard to detach from that because that is our level of worth. Oh, if I make X amount of money, I'm doing really well. If I do this in my career and achieve X accolade, I'm doing really well. And then we lose our own sense of self-worth, the internal sense, because along the way we got disconnected from it because our identity was tied to high levels of achievement. So it's very hard, even if we're heading towards burnout. I've done this too. Like, I know I'm burned out. I know I'm exhausted, but I keep pushing because I want to hit that next milestone in my business or help this many more women. And I'm like, but I know I'm burned down and exhausted, but I'm just so attached to that result.
Yes.
And where the coaching around being less attached to the destination and being more present in the journey is so important. And that's something we work on our clients with, because if you're only looking to that and the destination, I got to get there to the top of the mountain. Well, what happens when you're at the top of the mountain?
Yes.
You forgot the whole journey. You weren't present and now you're miserable.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we always feel like when I get to whatever
When
that's
I'll be happy when. It's like, no, if
yes.
you're not happy now, you're not going to be any more happy. If we talk about generational trauma and just how we're all wired for survival. We have to do a lot of work to get out of that fight or flight stress system, right? And that fight or flight is what gets us, I need an achievement, I need to keep going. But we need to really learn how to pull that back and say like, no, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm doing amazing, even if I don't hit X, Y, goal. And that's a lot of our, that's shadow work, that's ego work, that's work most people don't want to do.
Yes, exactly. When you do it, you can be happy no matter. And I think that's the
Exactly.
powerful part. But when you said it's our identity is attached to success, I think that is one sentence that I want everybody to really think about
Our
because
identity tied to success. And we also have just spent our whole lives praised for like pushing through, praised for the hustle, praised for all these accolades. You know what I mean? When I did pharmaceutical sales and I was the number one rep in the country for one of the drugs I sell, that felt really good. But it came with a toll on my health.
absolutely. And when I don't think I can do this anymore, the only tool that I had was to just work harder. It was like, I don't feel good. So I think I just need to work harder. That was my own. Yeah. It was like
a work funk. Let me just work harder. And instead of like taking a step back and realizing that rest is a strategy for your business or your career. Rest is a strategy for your life. Just like health is the biggest hack for business. My clients who are thriving, they take care of themselves. They take care of their body. They take care of their mindset. So
yes, a rest for your body, even, when you're, So if people are today just listening and like taking this in and thinking this sounds really interesting and knowing that they're not taking as good a care of themselves as they should, what are a couple easy changes? You gave us some for gut health, but what are a couple easy changes they can make to start? What I hear so much is women being like, I'm just so tired. I'm just so exhausted because I'm doing.
Oh yeah, let's go. I have a whole here. But you're not going to start your morning checking your phone. You're going to start your morning turning inwards. I don't care if it's only 3 minutes. Do not check your phone. Do not check the emails. Do not scroll Instagram. Do not answer the message. Take that time to harness your own energy, your own soul energy. A lot of people wake up and they're on the phone right away. Their brain is already being overloaded by everyone and everything else, putting themselves last. Start your day in a non-reactive mode. Turn inward. Do some breathing. Do some journaling. You don't need to write a novel. You don't need to even meditate for a half hour. But do 1 minute of breathing, and then you can go to 3, and then you go to 5, or do a guided meditation. Then you'll drink your warm lemon water. It's very simple. Some other things you can do is not rolling in bed right before you go to sleep. All these things drain our energy. And just like all the time we spend on our phones, like give yourself a limit. For me, 8:30, phone down, like no more. There's no need to be working at that time. You need to shut it down unless you have some big major long-term project, right? But in general, we don't need to be doing things like that.
Yeah.
Take It's midday, if you live in a warm climate, to stick your feet in the earth to get some sunlight, to get some vitamin D, to give your body energy. If you don't live in a warm climate, you can buy grounding mats. You can buy a red light. Like there's so many things that we can do to help give ourselves energy.
Yeah, and just be able to spend time outside. I live
Right.
somewhere where it's
Nature.
cold in the winter, but it's energizing to go for a walk when it's
Thank
like
you. Even
snowy.
if it's cold, there's really no excuse. When I visit my mom in New York, I take walks. I'm not like, oh, I can't get my steps in because it's freezing, 18 degrees, which for me,
Yeah.
coming from 82 in Maui, is extreme, but I bundle up and I go because you do feel a sense of being recharged. It's progress, not perfection. And it's the compound effect. The workouts don't need to be long. The meditations don't need to be long, but it's the compound effect over time. Nobody calmed their entire nervous system from one meditation. Nobody grew a booty from one workout in the gym, but it's a consistent efforts over time. So do a little something that's going to move the needle forward, and don't think it doesn't need to be this grandiose thing. I think high achieving perfectionists, for those of us where our identity is tied to achievement, we want it to be so big and so perfect, or I have to work out for an hour, or I have to do the half-hour meditation, or I have to do all the things. You don't need to do all the things. You need to pick the things that work for you and make you feel good, and then add on.
Yes, a little step, one little step at a time, and then you can keep adding. Great.
Exactly.
Well, I want to close by asking you the two questions that I ask every guest when they come on the show. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share?
I think because we talked this about a little bit before we hopped on, I think it's important to notate, since maybe a lot of the women listening are like 40s, 50s plus. I'm in perimenopause myself. And I think that a lot of women, when they hit a certain age, they start to blame it on perimenopause or menopause. But I urge you to really take a look at your gut health, because your gut health, there's something in it called the estrobolome, which is just a fancy term for the gut bacteria that controls estrogen. If your estrobolome is off, you will have estrogen dominance, which will cause fatigue, weight gain, moodiness, that stubborn belly fat. I think a lot of women are jumping to, oh, it's just my age, when it's really, we got to look at what's going on in the gut.
That's great advice, because I think a lot of people get to that point and they're like, okay, I guess this is just how it is now.
I guess this is it. I turned 50. It's like, no, but
Yeah.
there's so much we can be doing. And that's why I'm literally obsessed with gut health. Obviously, lifestyle changes and nervous system regulation too. I don't believe that it's just telling people what to eat with their gut health. You have to regulate your nervous system to calm your entire body down.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I like that you do the whole picture of gut health, what
Yes.
people should eat, mindset.
Nervous
habits.
system regulation.
Yeah.
There's trillions of health coaching programs out there that give you meal plans and workouts. You can actually go to ChatGPT and look that stuff up yourself. But what we do, where we really help, is that mindset piece and that nervous system regulation, along with
Mhm.
the gut health, because that's what leads to, your body being much less inflamed and you feeling better, getting on that
Yeah.
burnout.
Yeah. Okay, great. Bring that point
Welcome.
in. I think that's great. We just did a whole episode on menopause. So I know at least some of the people listening are in peri or
Yeah.
menopausal. Okay, so the questions that I ask everyone, the first one is, what is something you do when you feel overwhelmed to make yourself feel better?
When I feel overwhelmed, I typically will go jump in the ocean. And I know I have that luxury living here in Maui.
That's your answer. That's
Yes.
awesome.
For someone who doesn't live near water, you can stick your face in the cold bowl of water. I do that every morning, but that also helps regulate your nervous system. It's also very good for your skin and your pores, tightening the skin. Not everyone is near the ocean or body of water. I dunk 3 times. I don't know why, but three feels like the magic number. So I dunk and I scream under the water.
Oh, nice. And then when you come out, you're like, hey, I'm all right.
No, reset. Here we go.
Okay. And then what is something that you do to save time for yourself or to do less? Like an example would be ordering your groceries instead of going to the store. What's something that you do to save yourself time?
Well, I like a multitask in the morning. So while I meditate, I have my red light mask on. So save a little bit of time there. So I'm not having to do it later in the day.
Yeah, that's great. Great. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate insights and your great tips.
Yeah.
Tell everyone where they can find you if they're interested in learning more about your program or your business.
Find me on Instagram at the Angelica Ventrice. Send me a message. I have a free gut healing meal plan or a free course available. So just send me a message and let me know what you need, and we'll be happy to send it over.
Sounds perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Overwhelmed Working Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about my work, head over to my website at michellegothier.com. See you next week.